What is currently happening, programs? Welcome to the Grid VR, where I'll be bringing you this week's news in virtual reality. It's Sunday, the 30th of September, 2018, and all I can say this week is, did anyone actually guess Quest? We've got Oculus Quest setting the scale, Lone Echo 2 continues the tale, Star Wars Vader Immortal unveiled, Pimax reviews, ASW2, Defector, and much more. Today, I'm going to cover off the main events to keep you in the loop. So stay locked, enjoy, and welcome to the Grid VR. First off the ranks is the obvious big play from Oculus, the Oculus Quest headset, formerly known as the Santa Cruz prototype. This HMD is completely standalone, meaning no wires and no PC is required at all. It has 6 degrees of freedom, ultra wide angle, self-contained, inside-out, markerless tracking that can extend to a theoretical infinite scale, courtesy of 4 camera sensors on the headset and Oculus's new Insight tracking. Insight tracking can also provide a recallable play space and guardian boundaries, as well as co-location multiplayer, which is where a load of programs with Oculus Quest headsets can all play against each other in the same space. Completely wireless, like you are seeing on screen now. And yes, the headsets are tracking each other through asymmetrical co-location support thanks to a master spatial map of the arena that each headset recognizes and shares. And that also lets you view through a window into VR on something like an iPad. Check the link in the description below for more info on that one. John Carmack even mentioned the headset can provide low latency pass-through and mixed reality functionality, as well as native hand tracking like you would see with the Leap Motion, though that last one is unlikely to ship with Quest. The headset will come with touch controllers that have the same inputs as Rift touch controllers and launch with over 50 titles including Robo Recall, Moss, The Climb, Superhot, and a 3-part Star Wars series from Oculus and ILMX Lab called Vader Immortal. And if you already own a game on Rift, you may be able to get that game free on Quest depending on the developer of the game. The Quest has best in-class optics courtesy of the same lenses as an Oculus Go and 2 1600 by 1440 OLED displays with a pentile sub-pixel layout, viewable through a 95-degree field of view. This means it will look sharper than a Vive Pro and even sharper than the Pimax 5K headset at max FOV. The Quest's OLED panels mean that blacks will look blacker than what you would see from headsets using LCD panels, like the Oculus Go or most WMR headsets, which is a very good thing. The headset is locked at 72Hz, which is less than the Rift and Vive's 90Hz, but more than the Oculus Go's variable 60 to 72Hz refresh rate, depending on the app you are using at the time. And all this is powered by a Qualcomm 835 Snapdragon system on a chip, which may surprise those of you who expected an 845 for sure, especially as you now may be wondering how the hell can Quest run Rift quality games on a lowly 835 SoC. Well, reduced textures and depth information, as well as the 72Hz refresh rate are a couple of reasons, as well as chromatic aberration correction, which will remove artifacts and give devs more headroom at no extra cost to performance. And the Oculus Go will also soon feature the same correction technology, and that will also fix that rainbow sparkle artifact you see on the edge of the Go's field of view. Quest has built-in audio, hardware IPD adjustment, and reportedly provides around the same battery life as an Oculus Go, at around 2 to 3 hours. It will ship in spring 2019, so about 6 months away, and land at $399 for the 64 gig model, which is insanely cheap for what it is. I've literally got no idea how they got it to that price point actually. Now, trust me when I say that I've only just scratched the surface on this headset, the software that comes with it, and why it is so important for VR. But it's just not possible to cram all that info into this one episode. So stay locked here for a more definitive Oculus Quest video next week. On a final note note for Oculus Connect HMD announcements, it does look like the half-dome stuff we saw on this episode of the Grid VR won't be ready for release for another 4 to 5 years. But if you're still watching this show at that point, then stay locked here for updates. ASW, or Asynchronous Space Warp, is a technology developed by Oculus for Rift owners that provides you with the 90 frames per second required for a smooth PC VR experience when your PC is struggling. It does this by halving your frame rate, therefore halving the load on your PC, and then filling in the blanks with predicted fake frames so you still see 90 frames per second. The trade-off? Artifacts. To combat those artifacts, Oculus is introducing ASW 2.0, which now not only uses the image and headset data to guess the fake frames, but also uses depth information. The end result? A much more accurately guessed artifact-free VR experience. This is a big deal for Rift owners, and I would love to see Valve come to the table with something as good as ASW, so those who prefer the Vive can also reap these kinds of benefits. Until then though, if you have a low to mid-spec PC and like heavy lifting PC VR games, then a Rift really is the way to go right now. Are you taking sides?
Hell no!
It's true. And briefly, Oculus Core 2.0 has come out of beta, bringing with it the full release of Home and Dash, along with a string of performance improvements, user interface changes, and new features. Rift users can expect to see this rolling out almost straight away. The new Oculus Rift beta platform, which begins rolling out shortly, will feature cross-platform and expressive avatars, meaning that your avatar will not only have better simulated facial animations and eye movement, but you'll also be able to use your Oculus Home avatar in different games instead of having to remake it for each game, so you can be the same you all the time in VR. On that note, codec avatars will likely be a thing in the future thanks to Oculus Tech, and while this may just sound like a standard Oculus advertisement episode, really, one of these is a real capture. One is a real-time digital copy of that capture, and the other is the architect of your wildest dreams you haven't even had yet. Also teased that Oculus Connect was a prediction from that same man, Michael Abrash, the chief scientist at Oculus, where he showed a concept drawing of a waveguide headset. This concept drawing illustrates the use of a waveguide display that allows extremely small, glasses-like form factors, and while that's quite a way off, it's quite exciting to think about too. What isn't so far off is pancake lenses. Not a new concept, but only now becoming practical. Pancake lenses allow much sharper images that could reach retinal resolution and up to 200-degree fields of view, or provide a very compact form factor, like you would have seen on Ready Player One. The trade-off here being that they can't provide both field of view and compact design at the same time. Go and Quest users will soon be able to cast what they see in VR to a nearby TV or smartphone, so you can not only record your gameplay with sound, but others in the same room will be able to see what you see. A fucking underutilized option in my opinion. I mean, who wants to share their VR gameplay anyways? A trailer for Lone Echo 2 was shown in the middle of the OC5 keynote on day one, and while it doesn't really let on much, it looks to pick up from where the first game let off. You view the trailer through the eyes of Jack, as the other major character from the first game, Liv, puts Jack back together again, and in secret too, it seems. Not a lot more to say at this point, but there's an immersive 360 trailer that you can view right now, which is pretty tight, and I've put a link for that one in the description below. Defector, the Oculus exclusive VR spy game from Twisted Pixel Games, which I covered in this episode of the Grid VR, also has a new trailer, and the game is now set to arrive in 2019. Again, not much more on this one, but you do go to India, and the trailer link is in the description. Vox Machina has hit the Oculus and Steam stores this week and is a fully fledged mech battle game that rolls through a more realistic road with weighty machines and more realistic physics than what you would see from something like Archangel Hellfire or Code 51 Mecha Arena. Join up to 15 other players in 5 customizable mechs and strategize your victory in this highly praised tactical mech simulator. A program called Z Nixion Activision has released an implementation of SteamVR's API, OpenVR, called Open Composite for Rift owners. And what it does is lets you play SteamVR-based games on a Rift without running SteamVR, which results in a much smoother experience for Rift users on games when using SteamVR. It's not perfect and it's not confirmed working on all titles, but there's a link in the description if you have the issues I described and want to give this one a go. In saying that, if you do see the Oculus mode available, use that instead. Pimax reviews are up from Sweviva, MRTV, and Voodoo DE. Essentially, it looks like the 5K headset is the one to watch out for, though that could change with a decent software update from Pimax. The 170-degree field of view mode is generally the most acceptable setting. You will likely need a monster card like a 2080 Ti to run these headsets properly, and they really are for enthusiasts at this stage, due to the amount of software support and tweaking required to run them smoothly. Though, again, that could change with something as minimal as a decent software update from Pimax. Still, the headsets are legit, I love enthusiast shit, and Pimax backers should have these headsets in their hands by the end of the year. Also, Valve's Knuckles controllers have been updated to version EV3 and sent out to developers, with slight upgrades to input feel, strap design, battery life, and a few other tweaks. Still no word on the release date of these bad boys, though we can't be too far off now. Stage 9, the Star Trek TNG fan-built experience for flat and VR users alike, was shut down last week, and we now know that it's due to a takedown order from CBS, which means the project is now completely dead, which is just... But someone has uploaded the last stable release of Stage 9 to Mega Upload. And Mozilla have released Firefox Reality, a VR web browser for the Oculus Go, Mirage Solo, and Vive Focus standalone VR headsets. It's not a fully fledged VR browser just yet, but it is a continued sign that VR web browsing is a legitimate consideration by the big names in the web browser space. As always, all the links are in the description. And finally, Jeremy Horowitz, a writer for VentureBeat, has gone on Twitter and said that we are about 1 week away from having a redefining VR moment, akin to what flat gaming experienced with Super Mario 64. I'd love to hear your guesses in the comments below, but if it's prawn related, then mate, we've been vigorously redefining that for years now. And that's this week on The Grid VR. You can help support this channel by grabbing exclusive rewards on Patreon, and if you like this video, then crush that like button, have your say in the comments below, and hit the XO logo to subscribe if you wanna. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!